All right, cool. Welcome everybody. Jumping on at 5:30. Give it a couple of minutes. Let people kind of get on in here. But yeah, welcome, folks. Cool. Give me a second. We're just going. Awesome. We are going. All right, everybody. We are live with this one, folks. So give it a couple minutes. Just want to take care of a couple things on Discord before we go, and then we'll get going. But yeah, welcome, folks. This is going to be a really cool stream today. Shouldn't be too long of a stream. So we're taking it nice and easy today. So got a really special stream for y'all today. Awesome. Cool. Just want to see if we have... Alright, so I think we're going to get this one going, everybody. But we're doing the Seal 80 today, folks. So, welcome, everybody. This is going to be a fun stream, folks. We're doing something a little bit different today. So, we are going to be doing a sponsored stream today. And we are going to be taking a look at something from Sensy. So, let me get this open and kind of show you all the board and kind of talk about it and what makes this project so interesting. So let me get the board itself out and we can take a look at that. So here's kind of our star of our show, which is the Seal 80, folks. So the Seal 80 is a really cool project. So this is a really awesome board. Really a ton of different ways to build this. There's a ton of different color options, which is really cool. You also have a ton of weight options, and there are also 2 accent badges. There's this badge right here on the back weight, which is really cool. It's up, Happy Tissues. And then we also have this accent badge right here. So, but what makes this project really special is it supports 7 different switch types. So we have Cherry Mex, we have Alps, we have Topra or electrocapacitive, we have a switch called Space Invaders, we have Omrons, we have SKCP, and there's one other switch type that this board supports. So today, we're just to kind of get our feet wet and become familiar with this particular board, we're going to do a Cherry MX build. So I have a hot swap PCB that we're going to be utilizing today. And we have some really interesting plates that we can kind of take advantage of. So let me get the plates out and kind of show y'all also some of the PCBs that we got too. The Sensy team was really gracious in sending these this board out. So this is a sponsored build stream, but the Sensy guys also said, like, I'm free to say what I want to say, which is really nice. So if there is something that I noticed about the build, we are definitely going to say something. So, oh yeah, we're definitely messing with the 4mm plates. So yeah, those are those plates right here. These plates are crazy. So yeah, so today we're going to basically be doing Cherry MX. So this is going to be this isn't going to be a super long stream. When we do Alps on Monday, that's going to be the really lengthy stream, because we're going to be resoldering in some green Alps and using some silicon graphics keycaps. So for the purposes of our testing today, we're going to use this hot swap PCB. I have the Alps plate in here right now. Again, we will swap that one out. So we kind of have 3 plates to play with. I don't know if I want to build with all 3 plates this stream, because I'm more interested in these 4mm plates. But we have the kind of standard aluminum plate that the Sensy guys sent over for Cherry MX. So this is kind of bog standard 1.5mm. So I'm not really interested in building with this one. I mean, we can, but like what really fascinates me are these plates right here. So if we look at, my autofocus is kind of messed up, but if we look at these plates are ridiculously thick. I've seen these types of plates before. I've never done any types of build with them. So I know these are like a thing and really popular. So this black one's a little more flexible. And then we also have this amber colored one, which is more rigid. Yeah, so we're definitely going to do the 4mm plates. I don't, honestly, for Cherry MX, I don't carry, because when we do Alps, we're doing a 1.2mm Alps plate. So I feel like for this, I probably won't be using that. So we're going to, I think we're going to do 2 builds today. So we're going to do a build with the amber plate and then this black plate. These 4mm plates are just thick and they're awesome. So yeah, really excited for those. So we're definitely going to take advantage of those. But yeah, so it's going to be really cool. So, and we also have a couple other PCBs that the Sensy guys sent over as well. So these are the PCBs that really interest me. We're just kind of doing Cherry MX to just kind of showcase what like most people are going to build this with. So this PCB right here is for our Space Invaders build. So this is going to be really, really cool being able to do Space Invaders on this particular build. That, because this is I'm actually, Sensy was gracious enough to let me keep this unit. So I'm a big Alps guy. We will be building with Alps for the purposes of the review on Monday. But the reason I was interested in this project was for Space Invaders. So when we get to Space, so when we do our Space Invaders build, we will definitely be streaming that and showcasing that. And this is our Space Invaders PCB. I pretty much have all the PCBs. There's 4 PCBs for this. This is the Alps PCB right here, which is really cool. I didn't request the Topra or electrocapacitive PCB because like I do like Topra, and I have done a couple Topra builds for my personal collection. Like I just built this morning, which is really cool. This is my Han Pro 2K with Divinikey. So do love me some Topra, but like for this project, I really wasn't interested in Topra. I was mainly interested in Alps and Space Invaders. So I didn't request any of the Topra parts. So we're gonna be doing hot swap today. So since we're doing hot swap and no soldering, that's gonna kind of allow us to do 2 builds with these 2 different plates, do a couple sound tests, and then yeah. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today, folks. So let me just put my Space Invader and Alps PCBs away, because those are like the money shot ones we really want. So, and then in terms of parts, no. So this is a unit I get to keep. I was really gracious. I mean, I was gonna join this group buy, and then the Sensy guy said like, hey, like, do you want to check out a unit for review? And like, hey, we'll let you keep it. I'm like, cool. So yeah, I'm not gonna get a production unit. I'm not gonna be getting a unit in the group buy. This is my personal unit that I get to keep, which is really cool. But yeah, it looks really great. Anodization is really, really nice on this particular board. They gave me kind of a choice of what I wanted to request in terms of colorway, the accent badges, what weight I wanted. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So we're going to break this board open and kind of show you guys how it's built. And then we're going to do our Cherry mix. For keycaps today, we're going to use my GMK 9009. I ripped it off another board, so that's why it's in this little red solo cup. And then the 2 switches today we're going to utilize. I figured I'd go with the green theme. I have my Ace TTC V2s, and I have my Gatoron my Gatoron Beer tactiles. So figured we go with the green theme, having some green switches today. So let's break this board open. This isn't going to be a super long stream today, folks, because again, we're working with hot swap. We're not soldering. The long stream is going to be on Monday when we do Alps. So we are going to be soldering in that because we have to we'll be soldering those switches in. And then again, when we get the parts for Space Invaders, we're going to do that. I have the Space Invaders switches. I need to get a plate design, so I reached out to Apple T. He's kind of the go-to guy when it comes to Space Invader stuff. So Apple T, I sent him the plate file that the Sensy guy sent me. The plate file the Sensy guy sent me for Space Invaders, it wasn't exactly what I needed. So they said reach out to Apple T and then they can modify it. So switches we're going to be doing for the Seal 80 today. We have 2 switches we're going to be building with, so we're going to do 2 builds since it's hot swap. So we're going to go with the Ace TTC V2 linear switches. So we'll do 1 build with those, and then we're going to use some Gatoron Beer tactile switches for another build. So we have 2 of those 4mm plates we're going to build with. I figured since it's hot swap, we might as well do 2 builds. This is going to be a really cool board, folks. I'm really excited for this project. The thing that's really cool about Sensy is they're based in China, and they are huge vintage keyboard and computer enthusiasts. And they're big into Alps, old IBM stuff, like anything vintage, like they're into. And I've seen some of their like personal collections of some of the vintage stuff they have, and it's freaking cool. So like that was kind of their intention. The project they did last year, it's right here off in the corner. I have their previous board that they did, that I did purchase with my own money. They did not send me this one. Let me pull it up, and I'll show you guys my Seal. Like, this thing is, oh my god, it's so heavy. But this is my Seal full size. They ran this in 2024, and they delivered this in like Q3, early Q4 of 2025. This board took a long time to fulfill. It took the better part, almost a year. But it's really cool. This one is built with black tactile Alps and DCS Reaper. Fantastic board. I love it how it came out, like full black on black theme. Of course, we have the brass badge on my Seal full size, and of course we have that beautiful back weight. So this is a really cool board, and this is the Seal 80 is a great follow-up to a fantastic full size. I think the Seal full size is probably one of the best full sizes that's probably run in the last, I'd say, year and a half, which is really cool. So let's get this puppy out. All right, cool. So one thing here, this is not a final production unit, just to be aware, but it'll get you the basic idea of how this board is built. So there are these 3D there are these 3D printed portions right here on the top and the bottom right here. I don't know if those are going to be on the final production units. I don't think so. But that's just something to be aware of. Again, this is not a final production unit. But yeah, there is this piece of plastic right here just to prevent shorting, because some of the vintage switches you can put in this board, again, have much longer pins than Cherry MX switches, and this is just here to prevent shorting. And then if you remove these 8 screws in the bottom, that'll give you access to your unified daughter board, and that will remove your brass weight on the bottom. So pretty simple construction, folks. And then we'll look at the top mount, because Sensy did a really cool thing with their top mount solution here. So essentially they have this plastic insert right here, and then that insert kind of isolates the top mount from the metal top case, which is pretty cool. So we're going to remove this Alps plate, because we're not building Alps today. I just put it in there just because I like my Alps plate, and I'm really excited for the Alps build on this project. But today, again, is one of those rare instances where we are doing Cherry MX. So I figured we do, since I did not request the Cherry MX hot swap PCBs. They sent me 2 of them. So I figured, so when I got the package from Divinikey, I said, screw it, we might as well do a Cherry MX stream just to kind of get our feet wet, which is really cool. Yeah, it's very similar to the Diversity, which is another board I have. I got on Group Buy last year. I love my Diversity. Eventually, I do want to convert my Diversity to Alps, but that requires making a custom PCB and plate for it. So I love my Diversity TKL, but that board is like screaming for like vintage switch support other than Cherry. So yeah, hopefully maybe in the next year or 2, I definitely can get my Diversity converted. Because I have a couple boards I do want to convert to Alps, but I need to have PCBs constructed for them. Well, Juke City, I have like a metric crap load of OmniKeys. I have like crap. I have a lot of OmniKeys. Let's just put it that way. I'm obsessed with OmniKeys. My goal is to collect every single OmniKey ever created. I'm getting there. I'm like halfway. So I have a couple junk OmniKey. I have a couple OmniKeys that are they're not worth saving or restoring, but the keycaps are good. So like if I were ever to get my Diversity converted to Alps, I would definitely be using a Northgate OmniKey keycap set. So yeah, no, I definitely would be covered there. So yeah, pretty much. So yeah, let's put that Alps plate to the side because we're not using that. So yeah, I figured I want to see like what do we want to build with first. So we have this amber plate, which is like super cool, and then we have the black plate. So the amber plate I feel feels a little more rigid, and this black one is way more flexible. So I'm thinking we're gonna build with the more flexible one first, and then we'll do a build with the other ones. Black is ABS, amber is PEI. Okay, so we'll go with ABS first, and then we'll do PEI. So I guess the question is, which switch do you guys want for the black? Do you guys want the Ace TTCs, or do you want the Gator and Beers for the black ABS plate? I'm kind of cool with either one. So the Ace TTC linears are in like my very first ever keyboard over on the display behind me. But we'll kind of see what it is. How it goes. But yeah, I'm really excited. I've never built with a plate like this. I know some people absolutely love these things. So I'm really excited to get to build with these like super thick plates. Okay, we'll go TTC with black first. All right. So let's do that. So all right, let's get this plate put to the side. Just kind of get everything lined up. Okay, cool. We'll figure it out. Let me get. I gotta do my stabs, and then we'll kind of figure out what switches we want to put with each plate. So let's just get these little tabs broken off, and then yeah, we'll get it going. So yeah, this is a really cool build. I'm really excited to get this one going. And again, the Sensy guys were really cool. I wasn't like I just kind of befriended Isis over at Sensy, and he was really the guy on the Sensy team who kind of hooked up. It made it possible for me to get one of the review units. Again, of the people who got, a lot of the bigger creators in the space got review units for this board. But myself and Black Simon are the only ones who are building non-Cherry MX for the showcase of this project. So this project was not built for Cherry MX. I mean, unfortunately, most people who are joining this project are going to probably do Cherry MX. But the purpose of this project was to put vintage switches in it. Like, that's why this project is really cool. So, yeah, we're going to do 5 stabs on this one today. We're doing cherry clip-ins today, the good old venerable cherry clip-ins. So, cannot go wrong with, like, the goated, like, stabilizer right here. So, yeah, we'll do good old cherry clip-ins. So, we'll get these puppies lubed up. We'll use the same PCB for both builds, which is good. So, let's get these kind of organized. I'll put the plate off to the side, and let's get these parts kind of organized, and then we'll start lubing these puppies up. So yeah, this will be the part of the build that takes the longest, but I figured we might as well do the Cherry MX build just to kind of get a nice showcase of this build and how it sounds with Cherry MX, because again, that's how the vast majority of people are going to be building this board. So that's just something to be aware of. So I just want to see how our clip-ins go. It's been a minute since I've used cherry clip-ins, so I just want to make sure I'm putting them in right. There we go. Alright, got him. Alright, let's get our 205G0. What's up, Woody? What's up, Epic Woody? Life is good. Life is good. So we're here doing the Seal 80 by Sensy. So this is a sponsored build stream. Sensy did send this over via Divinikey. So this project is currently on Group Buy, and it's going to be running till April 23rd. So what's really cool about this project, it supports 7 different types of switches, which is really cool. So if you go on like the Group Buy page, you're gonna see like a ton of different PCB options. I have 3 of the 4 PCBs. The only PCB I don't have, which I just didn't request it, was the Topra PCB or electrocapacitive. I just wasn't interested in building this board with Topra. I was more interested in building it with like Alps and the other vintage switches. So that's just one thing to note about this, about just the content I'm going to be making about this board. We are not doing any EC work. So, and again, I just did some EC Topra stuff. So I literally built a Topra board this morning off stream, which was really nice. So now we're just getting these puppies lubed up. So colorway, what we got, let me just move my PCB and my plates and whatnot. So I requested the dark green. So I have this really beautiful green anodization, which looks fantastic. So really, honestly, it's a really good looking board, to be completely honest. Now, mind you, the unit that I have on hand, I am going to be able to, Sensy is allowing me to keep that. So please, I'm making that very transparent. This board was sent to me by Sensy via Divinikey for review. So that's just something to be aware of, is, again, I just want everyone to be aware of, again, this was sent to me for review, and Sensy is allowing me to keep the board. So I just want to make that very, very clear. But yeah, but this is going to be a cool project. But we're going to basically be building this board 3 ways over the next few weeks. We're doing Cherry MX today. On Monday, we're going to be doing the Alps build stream, and we're going to be doing this build to kind of keep with the green theme. We're going to be doing green linear Alps for that build, which is going to be really cool. And then the one that's probably going to take a little bit longer is going to be Space Invaders. I need to have the plate file, the Space Invaders plate file modified. So I sent it over to Apple T over in Sweden. So I'm waiting for him to get back to me so he can modify the plate. And then once he gives me that modified plate file for the layout that I need, then I'll send it over to Tom over at Hype Keyboards and have him make the plate file. I'll see if we can get the Space Invaders build together before the Group Buy ends. I don't know. I would like to, but like the way this build, like since I'm going to be able to keep this board, the way I'm going to keep this board in its like final configuration once we're done with content and promoting the project is with Space Invaders. So this will be my pretty much my only Space Invaders build. I have enough Alps builds to like till the end of time. So I really wanted Space Invaders, and I really wanted a modern keyboard with them. So yeah, when we do that Space Invaders build, that build is going to be sick when we get it going. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a really cool project. So we're just getting this one going and just kind of getting it going. So we're getting these cherry clip-ins lubed. And then once we got our cherry clip-ins lubed, then we'll get them mounted on the PCB, and then we'll start putting in switches with these really fun plates. So we're not going to be doing the aluminum, the standard like 1.5 millimeter Cherry MX aluminum plate, because again, I think the other content creators who have covered this board already did that build. So we're going to be doing something a little bit different. And like I said, myself and Black Simon are the only people promoting this board who have done, who are doing non-Cherry MX builds. Like Black Simon got the polycarbonate version. He's doing it with Blue Alps, which makes sense. I didn't want to put Blue Alps in this keyboard. I wanted a metal version of it. But yeah, I can't wait to see Black Simon's build stream, because like Blue Alps is going to sound sick in the polycarbonate version. But this board is going to look, I mean, the Alps build is going to sound really nice. I've had really good success with linear Alps sounding really good in metal keyboards. So, like, I've just learned with Alps, clicky Alps benefit best from polycarbonate cases. I've put clicky Alps in, like, modern metal keyboards, and in my opinion, they just kind of sound like crap. And you lose a lot of, like, that great sound signature with that I think clicky Alps are associated with. So when I do like modern metal keyboards, I basically just stick to either tactile or linear Alps. That's just kind of what I've learned as I've kind of progressed in my understanding of how to do Alps builds. That's what we're going to be doing. But yeah, I'm really excited. And again, I've seen a lot of people who are enthusiastic. I saw on Careless's server, there was a user who joined the Seal group buy and they bought all the PCBs. So they're probably going to, so I was really, which I thought was really cool. So it's been really nice seeing people join this project, and some people are really curious about trying other switch types other than Cherry MX. That's the one thing I've kind of found in my niche within the hobby, is like showing people like, hey, there's other ways to have fun in this hobby that's not Cherry. And again, Cherry dominates for a reason. There's a reason Cherry's top dog and they're so prolific. But I mean, once people get sick of Cherry MX builds, like, dude, there's a ton of other ways to have fun in this hobby. Like whether you get into Alps, you get into Topra, like you get into the vintage stuff, which is really cool. Like vintage keyboards are freaking phenomenal and fun to have. It's so much fun to play with. That's what I really encourage people. Like there's a lot of great fun to be had when you jump into like the vintage keyboard side. Like again, I've done some IBM stuff recently, and that stuff's been fun. But if you look behind me, like on my wall back here, like I have the IBM Battleship and like my first generation IBM Model M back here. So it's been really cool seeing those builds. Like getting into the IBM stuff has been like fantastic. So like absolutely love it's the old computing stuff. It's just so much fun. So yeah, we're just lubing up these cherry clip-ins, and then once we get these cherry clip-ins, then we'll be ready to go. Let's just put these in. So yeah, it's good. But yeah, oh yeah, what's up? I never reloaded. Howdy. So yeah, we are doing the Seal 80 from Sensy today. So we're doing the Cherry MX build stream. This group buy runs until April 23rd. And if you are in North America, Divinikey is going to be your vendor for this project, which is really cool. So yeah, Seal 80 is really cool. This is a sponsored build stream. The Sensy guys did send this my way, and they're allowing me to keep this really awesome keyboard. So yeah, I'm really excited. And again, I hope like the Sensy are doing 2 projects this year. They're doing the Seal 80 right now, and then in the second half of the year, they're working on another TKL called the Separation TKL, which they've teased. And essentially the Separation TKL is really built for Alps first, and it's going to natively support Apple extended keyboard keycaps from OG Macintoshes, which is super sick. Like, and that's one of my favorite vintage switch sets. But those switches are kind of those. Ooh, nice. F18XV2. I need to rebuild my F18X. It's been sitting unbuilt for the past couple of months. I had it built with Blue Alps, and that was one of my first Alps keyboards that I built when I got into Alps last year. And I just put Blue Alps in. I didn't know any better, and I just kind of realized Blue Alps kind of sound like crap in that board. So, because my F18X is full metal, so I don't have the PC bottom. So, like, Blue Alps just sound, in my personal opinion, don't sound very good in a full metal keyboard. You want them to be in, like, a polycarbonate board, or at least a board with, like, a polycarbonate bottom. So, like, I tore my F18X apart, and it's just been sitting like that. It's eventually going to get, like, black tactile Alps and silicon graphics keycaps. My project backlog is eternal, and as soon as the Seal 80 came in, like, that was kind of my priority in terms of, like, content and, like, keyboard stuff. Like, I want to crank out this content and get this stuff made for the Sensy guys so we can get the group buy promoted. So, yeah, my personal projects are kind of taking a back seat right now. Because, again, I gotta make sure we get the Seal 80 promoted and get that taken care of and squared away. So, yeah, we're just lubing this puppy up. And, yeah, we're going to get these cherry clip-ins. Once these cherry clip-ins are on the PCB, it should be pretty quick through the remainder of the build stream. So, of course I dropped the part. Dang it. Can't take me anywhere. But yeah, F18X is really cool because my F18X is the special edition red one they did for the Seoul Mechanical Keyboard Expo in I think 2024. So I got really lucky and got that off a user at MSRP last year, which is really cool. So that's definitely one of my favorite Geon boards and like one of my favorite Alps builds. I love taking out that board, and I can't wait to have it rebuilt whenever I have time to get to it. Because it definitely is one of my favorites, and I miss having it in like my keyboard like collection rotation. So, but yeah, the Seal 80 is really cool. But like, the one thing I think is just really cool about this project is I don't think there's anyone else doing something like this. I know certain keyboard projects will like include Alp support for like their solder PCB, but like the amount of switches that this project supports is kind of mind-bogglingly insane. Like the fact that they're supporting 7 switch types is genuinely insane, which is really cool. I mean, you have Cherry Max, Alps, Topra, you have Omron, you have Space Invaders, Alps SKCP switches are supported in this. Like, it's just kind of crazy how many switches this board can be built with. And it was really cool in Careless' server today, seeing someone who purchased all 4 PCBs, which is just kind of crazy. So I have 3 of the 4 PCBs. When I was talking with the Sensy guys and figuring out what I wanted to request for the Seal 80 review, I did not request the Topra PCB, just because, like I said, like I'm not, at least for this project, I wasn't interested in building at Topra. Like there are some TKL projects I'm hoping we can get in for review that I'm much more interested for like the purposes of Topra, but for this board, I was more interested in the vintage switches. Like I really didn't care for Topra for this one. But hey, if you're a person who's really into Topra and you buy this board for Topra, all the power to you, because that's going to be super sick. All right, let's get our spacebar wire put in here, and then we'll get this one going. So, but yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Actually, we'll just do it by hand. Let's just do that. So, yeah, so we're just doing this, getting this going. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun build. So I'm really excited for this one today. Yeah, we're just coating this wire and some 205G0. Other side coated. Yeah, this is the part that's probably going to be the most tedious. Again, doing stabs is always just kind of frustrating, but we'll get it done. So yeah, nothing too crazy, folks. So we're just getting it going. Oops. Put the wrong portion. It's my first time working with cherry clip-ins, so got them in, figured we'd use them for this build, so. So, yeah. Yeah, but I hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. Yeah, so we're just getting this project done, so, you know, but it's overall like a really good time. Like, I'm really enjoying this project, and I'm really, like, honestly, I'll be completely honest, I'm actually really excited to do the Alps build for this one, because I think it's going to be, I think Alps are going to sound so good in this board. So, and like I said, this Sensy guys built this board for vintage switches. Like, which is really unusual, because, like, most of the time when we see, like, modern keyboard conversions, like, again, the boards are built for, like, modern Cherry MX. Like, that's the vast majority of boards that we see. But it's really cool you have, like, a group of enthusiasts like Sensy who are doing a project like this. Because there's no one else is doing something like this right now. Especially for a project that's, like, going to a mainstream group buy. So, because, like, again, vintage switches and stuff like this is still very niche and, like, very obscure. So, like, the fact that like, Sensy is doing, like, a big-time project like this really is amazing. And I hope it brings more people into, like, the vintage side of the hobby, or, like, into, like, Topra, or, like, vintage switches or whatnot. Because I think that's what I think is, like, where the hobby can get really, really fun. So, yeah, we're almost done. We're in our last couple of stabs here. Getting these last couple of wires done. Nice. Hey, what's up, Blue Cubes? Yeah, this is a fun MX build for sure. I'm really stoked for this one. We're doing the 4mm plates on this one. So we have the ABS and the PEI plate. So I'm not gonna bother with the 1.5mm aluminum plate, because, like, Alex Odos and all the other people who got this board for review did that build. I'm not here to replicate that build. So we're going with the dude, this is a sick project. I mean, I was just saying earlier, like, the fact that, like, Sensy is doing a big time group buy like this, like, mainstream with, like, the big vendors, really is interesting, because, like, the fact that they're doing 7 different switch types with 4 different PCBs is, like, really freaking cool. I saw on Carol's server, one of the users there, like, purchased all 4 PCBs with their Seal 80, which is just kind of insane to me. But, I mean, that's awesome. I have 3 of the 4 PCBs. The only one I didn't get was the Topra one. Because, like, when I was taught, I could have requested the Topra PCB, but, like, I wasn't interested in this board for Topra. I mean, as good as Topra is, like, that's not the intent. I mean, it's cool they have the support for it, but, like, I think what makes this project cool is the vintage switch support. So, which I think is going to be really cool. But, yeah, I'm really excited for what these guys are doing and cooking up with this project. And, again, their TKL they're running later this year, the separation is going to be sick, too. So, let's get this clipped in. Got a clipper in this way. Alright, cool. Good old cherry clipping. No screws, no nothing. You just clip them in. There you go. Alright. Gotta redo that space bar. I think I got something stuck on that one. Yep, come on, clip in. Alright, what's up, Parrot? What's up? What's up? So, yeah, we're doing the Seal 80 today with Cherry MX. So, really fun Cherry MX build today. And we're going to be building it with the 4mm plate. So, yeah, you got to adjust the space bar. There's something wrong. It's not popping up, so let me take that out really quick. Let's see what's up with our space bar. Okay, something. So we're gonna be doing. So for this first, we have. We'll kind of get to it, but these are kind of our 2 switch options. I'll kind of leave them there on the screen while I figure out what's up with this stab right here. There we go. Put it in the wrong way. Oops. Well, there's your problem. Yeah, so let me just get a little rag here and just wipe off some of the excess on these. Yeah, so yeah, a really cool board. This is a sponsored stream, folks. Just be aware of that too. So it's not going to influence my opinion on this board, but my opinion on this board is I freaking love it. So I wouldn't have taken on. I mean, one thing about me when I try to get a board for review, yeah, I don't know. I don't. Well, for the purpose of I will be doing an Alps build on Monday with this, but we're not going to be doing any of those thick plates. Oh my god, that is insane! It completely encases the stabs. I've never built with like a 4mm plate. Oh my god, that's insane. Wow, this is going to be thick. Holy cow, that's wild. So, all right, we're going to go with the ABS plate first for this build. So, I don't know. What do you guys want to do? So, for the ABS plate, we can either do the Ace TTCs or the Gator on beers. Or heck, if someone else has a switch recommendation, let me know. I may have it on hand. I have like 50 different switch types of Cherry MX. So, if you have a switch that you... I don't know why this plate is so thick. I know some people does like it gives like a certain sound signature. I mean, if someone has a I don't know. What are you guys thinking for this ABS? Do you think Ace TTCs or Gator on beers or something else? Like I have a ton of switches on hand. I mean, so whatever people are kind of thinking, what do y'all think? Possibly, I want to check out the beers really quick, cause yeah. So, yeah, I have a truckload of beer. I think I might do the beers for this one. Yeah, I think we're gonna do beers. So yeah, I think we're gonna pop in the beers and make sure. Oh my god, that is legitimately insane. Like I said, I've never done a build with like a plate like this. Yeah, the beers seem good, so I think we'll do the beers. All right, so yeah, so let me just get some to kind of hold everything in. But yeah, this is legitimately insane. This is crazy. Let me just kind of make sure everything is clipped in. Yeah, okay. Let me just get the corners, but yeah, this is wild. This is I'm not used to a plate like this. This is crazy. And then for keycaps today, yeah, I think beer would be good for at least for this one. I mean, the PI will do the Ace TTCs. Yeah, but this is a really really cool board. So I wasn't going to do a Cherry MX build showcase for this board because when I didn't request a Cherry MX PCB with this particular board. I requested the Alps PCB and then the Space Invaders PCB. And then when I got the board in, they sent me 2 hot swap Cherry MX PCBs. So I said, well, screw it, we're gonna do a Cherry MX build. It'll be a quick one. I mean, this will probably be like a 90-minute stream. This is not going to be a terribly long stream today. When we do Alps on Monday, that'll probably be like a good 2.5 hours. But for this stream, this is going to be a nice quick one, just because again we're dealing with hot swap today. Blue Cubes, I know you love hot swap PCBs, so. But yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing for just the purposes of today. So we'll get this one mounted, and we'll get the keycap. We'll get we're using GMK keycap. So again, we are going to be using. Yeah, Parrot, you're insane. Which is crazy. Which is kind of wild. Also, I'm too lazy to I hate desoldering stuff. I don't know if I want to desolder hot swap sockets. And I also don't know if I want to completely destroy this PCB. I mean, the benefits of this PCB. I mean, I do have 2 hot swap PCBs, so who knows, Parrot? I may try your experiment, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, hot swap PCBs are just kind of crazy. Yeah, Sensy is amazing. I love the team over at Sensy, and they were really gracious enough to send me one of these and allow me to keep it. Like when I was talking with the Sensy guys, I made it very clear, like, hey guys, I'm a smaller person in the space, but everyone knows my work knows what I do with Alps, and I really want to showcase the Alps stuff with it. And they said, okay, we'll take it into consideration. And then I'd say about a month ago, the Sensy team reaches out and they said, hey, we want to send you a unit. And they were really, and I'm like, okay. And I told them, like, hey, like, I don't have to keep it. I'm not asking for a free Seal 80. Like, if you want to send it to me, I'll make some content on it, and then we'll send it to the next content creator. And they said, no, you can keep it. What color do you want? Like, they literally just sent me the checklist of, like, how do I want to kit out my board? Like, what color, what weights I wanted, what PCBs I wanted. So, like, I looked through them, and that green just spoke to me. That really, because they have two greens. They have a lighter green, it's like more like a jade, and they have this dark green. And the dark green really spoke to me. The orange, the blue, the red look really sick. The purple one, like the anodization on it's really good. And then I really like the brass weight, because I had the brass weight on my Seal full size, and that was awesome. So I'm a big fan of brass, just natural colored brass. So really, really good stuff. So yeah, the orange looked really good too. Oh, nice. A 5576 would be sick. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, I would love an IBM beam spring board eventually. I got a Model FAT from a user on Careless's server for, like, dirt cheap. But when I got the board in, the controller was dead on the PCB. So I reached out to my friend Alec Tardy, and I said, hey, man, is this fixable? And he said, yeah, we can fix it. And I said, cool, it's a low on my priority. I just wanted to know if you could fix it. So I will be getting my IBM FAT, but that'll probably be like later in 2026. It's just, I have other priorities in terms of like projects I want to do. So the FAT is literally just sitting fully disassembled, and I'm slowly going to clean the parts, but like in terms of like finally putting it back together, it'll probably be a few months. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Plate springs are pretty cool. Like, I want a beam spring, because again, I have like the Model M's, like I have the Gen 1 silver badge with lock lights and the IBM Battleship, and I have a Model F XT and AT. I do want an IBM F122, but those are like, the last one that sold was like, someone had it on eBay for like $600, and I'm like, I can't do that. I would also love like an IBM SSK, but those are also like kind of expensive. Yeah, I've tried beam spring. I've tried them at meets. Like, there's a guy here in LA that has some beam spring stuff, and it's super, super sick. It's just so freaking expensive. And I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, a beam spring would be nice to have one eventually. Or if I just don't want to pay the premium for, like, an original beam spring, going with, like, an Ellipse Kish Saver, like 60%, like, beam spring would be really cool. So, but yeah, we're getting this going. So yeah, this is going to be really quick, folks. Nothing too great. Well, you know what's weird? I considered getting an Ellipse board because I wanted a Model F. And I was kind of intrigued by his project. And then the more I read into it, I just realized there's a lot of problems with it. And I get it when you're doing a small project like that. Yeah. Oh, no, I love my Model F XT. Yeah, it's away, but I love my Model M's. The Model M's are super cool. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely wanted the OG stuff. So like, I kind of talked myself out of getting an Ellipse board. I'm kind of glad I did, because I have my IBM Model FXT fully restored, and that thing is freaking amazing. Probably one of my favorite vintage boards to use. Like, something about the Model F switch type is just amazing. Like, I love my Model M's. They're awesome. We'll probably be rebuilding the mod. I have to tear down the Battleship, because I'm gonna take the big ass enter from my IBM Model F AT and putting the big ass enter on the Battleship. In order to swap that keycap, I have to fully take apart the bolt mod on that thing, which is gonna be absolutely delightful. I mean, that's the only thing I don't like about the Model M's is, like, if you want to do any type of changes in terms of, like, keys and whatnot, you got to fully tear down the thing or bolt mod the damn thing. So, thankfully, like, my Model M's, both of them are bolt modded. And I have an extra Model M. I have a gray badge Model M, and who knows, we may be giving it away. Stay tuned for that, folks. We may be giving away a Model M. We'll see. We may have fun with that. Well, I've done bolt mods before. I've torn my boards apart. I've done the bolt mods. It's not fun, but that's not the most difficult thing. I kind of see it like tearing a Topra board apart. There's so many freaking bolts. I think on the Battleship, I think there's like over 100 bolts on it, which is insane. There's probably like 110 bolts holding the thing together. It's just kind of insane. So we're almost done getting the beers in. I mean, like I said, that's the benefit of Cherry MX Hot Swap. Is it's super, super quick. So we'll have a build together really soon. Look at this, folks. It's not like soldering where it takes us 3-4 hours to put the damn thing together. So there we go. So we are all... Oh, that one's stuck. Let's not bend my pins today. I don't want to do that. Cool. Yeah, but it'll be a really cool board. So, yeah, we're there's a lot. Again, like, my project backlog's eternal. I also have a bunch of Apple boards I gotta throw back together. I got some of my Apple boards together. Like, I got this puppy back together, which is really sick. So I got my Apple 2GS with Orange Alps put back together, which is nice. It's nice being able to use my Apple boards, some of my Apple boards again, because they've been apart for a while. So it's nice having those. All right, folks, we got our first one. This is going to be Gator Run beers with the ABS plate. Oh, dude, I have two. I have two Z150s I'm going to be building with Alec PCBs. I have one for me and I have one for a client over in Russia. They're very low on my project list right now. But I'm dying to get my Z150. So yeah, there we go, folks. We got those in there. Awesome. So let's get this top mounted and let's get this board together and we'll get keycaps on. So let's get some keycaps on here and let's get this board. Let's see how this board sounds. So let's get our top mount. Let's get this puppy back together. So yeah. All right. Yep, wrong bit. So nice fun board here, folks. All right. Cool, I got that one. Yeah, and one thing about this too, I think is really cool. I think I really appreciate just a little quality of life thing. There is no top mounting point under the spacebar. Big ups to Sensy for doing that. Not a fan if you put a mounting point under the spacebar, so thank you for that. And they also did that on the Seal 80 as well, which is pretty good. So yeah, but this is probably gonna be like, I think this is one of the cooler group buy projects of 2026 for sure. Like I said, I kind of went crazy on group buys last year. I pretty much have slowed down on doing new group buys, but this one was definitely one I had my eye on for a while, and to kind of be the opportunity. Oh, this is a well-designed TKL. One thing that's really cool too, the top mounting points too. They did this on the Seal full size. Is they have this plastic insert that's screwed into the top, and then that isolates the screws that screw in for the top mount, which is pretty cool. Oh, dude, yeah, the 7 switch options is sick. And I hope people who purchase this build something other than Cherry Mix. I think that's what makes this project so cool and so intriguing, and why you should buy it is to build something that's not Cherry Mix. Like, build something else. Like, if you're not comfortable with the vintage switches, build Topra. Or build Alps. Or what have you. I mean, I'm going crazy and building this with Space Invaders. So we're getting that JST plugged in. And then, yeah. Oh, my God. Those beers look fantastic. So let's get this thing screwed in. And we'll put GMK 9009 on this puppy. So, and again, there are 6 screws on the bottom that hold it in. So, and then we got our little feetsies right here. So, which is pretty good. But yeah, you can see my gorgeous brass weight. And also the bottom badge. I have to go with this kind of green and like carbon fiber bottom badge, which looks really sick. So, alright, let's get her screwed in. Yeah, this is a real, I mean, I think that's the really cool thing to get. Yeah, Cherry Mount SMK you can really get. SMK is really cool. But like for me, like I'm doing like again, we're like for the promotion of the group buy, we're doing like Cherry MX, we're gonna do Alps. But since this is a board I get to keep, the way this board is gonna stay in its final form is going to be Space Invaders. We're gonna be putting clicky Space Invaders in this thing. The Sensy guys did give me a Space Invaders plate for this particular keyboard. The problem was it's an ISO and it doesn't have a split backspace. Most Space Invaders keycaps that you're gonna see are gonna have a split backspace and have a big ass enter. So the plate file they sent me needed to be modified. So I sent the plate file for the Sensy guy sent me over to Apple T in Sweden, and I'm waiting for him to get back to me so he can give me that modified plate. And then once I have that modified plate, I'll then send it to Tom over at Hype Keyboards to get that made. So yeah, that looks, oh my God, the beers look great in this. Yeah, that looks sick. Oh my god, that looks awesome. My god, that is so good looking. Look at that back profile too. Oof. Love it. And we also have an accent bar right here too. So when you purchase the board, you'll also have a choice to get a little what accent bar you want to put here. There is no way around this. If you're saying, "Oh, I don't like that accent," someone told me they don't like it, like you have to get an accent bar. So just be aware you have to pick one. So I got a green one just to kind of go with the theme. All right, keycaps, we're going GMK 9009. I figured 9009 would go really good with this the green colorway of this keyboard. And also, we have a GMK big ass enter too, just to kind of go with it for 9009. So we're just putting these on. Cool. Let's get our shifts, just make sure our stabs are good. And then our backspace. Yeah, but 9009, I think it'll be a really good way to kind of complement this particular board. So, let's get my other pink key. There it is. Go on with my insert right there. Perfect. Alright, let's put everything else on. So, Alt Gear, Control. Yeah, Gator and Beers I really like. It's a switch I really enjoy. So we'll do this build, and then we'll tear it apart, and then we'll do the Ace TTC linears with the PEI. I think most people are really excited about the 4mm PEI plate. I think that's the plate I think a lot. I think is at least for Cherry MX, 4mm PEI I think is the most interesting option. So if you're gonna do Cherry MX, I would recommend the PEI plate. But since I got both 4mm plates sent to me, we're gonna build it with both. So I figured we would do that. So let's get these ones going. But yeah, we'll just kind of see how this one looks, and then we'll get our board put together. So yeah, Gator on Beers, again, a switch I really love. I think it's a really enjoyable switch. But yeah, so we're just putting on, so this is GMK 9009, I think R2 I have. So, I mean, GMK hasn't made this set in a minute, which is weird because GMK it's weird. I don't know why GMK doesn't keep 9009 in stock, because like they sell the accents direct from their website. So like they just need, I really wish they would like keep 9009 in stock or do like another run of it, because it is such an iconic set. It's kind of like classic beige, like, or like black and white or white and black. Like those are sets that should always be in stock from GMK, because they go with everything. Like, this is one of the iconic Cherry MX sets. And I mean, one of my dream boards eventually would be a Cherry G80 9009. Will I ever get one? Probably not, because they're like as rare as hen's teeth, and when that one does come up for sale, like they're absurdly expensive. But you never know. You never know. But that is like, that would be a dream board. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, we've got to go over one. Yeah, Soulmate, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm very unfamiliar with these 4mm plates. So, I mean, if someone in chat would be happy to like chime in, like how do these 4mm plates kind of change the sound profile? I've never built a board with these 4mm plates. I know they kind of have like a cult following within the hobby, and certain people really, really like them. And I know certain keyboard projects have been giving 4mm plates as an option. I really don't know. We're gonna see once we get this, once we get all these keycaps on, we'll do a little sound test with this one and see how this 4mm ABS plate sounds. But it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, this is a really cool project. But yeah, I think 9009 was a really good choice for this board. Because yeah, it's one of my favorite keycap sets. This keycap set actually is on my MM Studio Class 80. But for the purposes of the review today, definitely wanted it. Oh, we gotta move this over. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to impact, how much this is going to impact sound with Cherry MX. But yeah, the Gator on Beers I think were a really good switch for this. And again, the Ace TTCs are another switch I really enjoy. They're in my first ever keyboard build that I ever did. And they're one of my favorite switches. Yeah, put these over, so. Yeah, so we're going to see, folks. We are going to see. Just making sure. Yeah, we're going to see. So we're doing 2 builds on this one today, folks. So just to kind of keep it fun. Oh, keep putting switch keycaps in like the wrong places. That's not good. So we got our QWERTY right here. And then we have our I. Print, and then our delete key right there, scrolls right there. We're good in there, folks. All right, we got 2. All right, here we go, folks. All right, here's our first build that we're doing here. Yeah, so here's, again, the Seal 80 with Gator on beers and the 4mm ABS plate. Looks really, really cool. I'm loving how this kind of came out. So that is looking fantastic. So really, really nice wine. I think 9009 I think is a really good match. I mean, 9009 kind of goes with everything. So let's see how this sounds. Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. It definitely doesn't, because I have another board that was built with Gator on beers, and it sounds very different with that kind of. It's also this ABS plate, even though it's 4mm thick, it's still very flexible. Like even though it's top mounted and you have that 4mm plate, there is still a lot of give with this. So it's not like a very abrupt, very sharp feeling. Yeah, but the one thing I do like with Gator on beers, it's still a very clacky switch. Yeah, so that's really cool. I think that is a really fun way to kind of showcase this. So, which is really cool. And we can kind of compare it to the Seal full size, which I also have on display. So we can kind of do a full size versus TKL comparison. So, again, this literally just is the Seal full size with the numpad cut off. So it's like dimensions. Like if you can exclude the numpad and the Seal full size, it's basically the same. Like that's literally what they did. There are slight variations, but it still has that like hump around the USB port, giving some exposure of the back weight, and you can kind of see that as well. So really, really cool board. So let's get this green board torn down, and we're going to do the PEI plate, which I think is what most people are really kind of excited for with this particular build. Yeah, I'm gonna get my keycap puller. We'll disassemble it first, and then we'll get that PEI plate installed. I think that's where like most people are kind of excited about. So, all right, let's tear this down, and let's do that. Let's get the PEI build done with the Ace TTCs, and I think we'll get on out of here. So, probably the next 30 or so minutes, folks. This is not going to be a terribly long stream. So. The long stream is going to be when we do Alps on Monday. Like, that's going to be, like, the lengthy, like, time-consuming stream. So, that one's going to be super sick, so. But, yeah, this is a really cool little project. I'm very, very happy with this board. I think the Sensy guys did a really good job with this one. So, come on. Oh, all right, where are you at? There we go. Got that screw out, and then we'll get that one. And there we go. Cool. Awesome. Let's flip that over. Let's get that JST unplugged. There we go. Cool. All right, let's put the bottom case off to the side. And then let's get this top case undone. And then we'll get that awesome PEI plate, because I think that's probably the more exciting of these plates. So, Lovely. Alright, cool. Just grab those last couple of screws. And then we'll tear this build apart. So this is kind of a trial run too from when we do Alps. Just kind of being familiar with this board. So, alright, let's pull these keycaps off. That was the quickest build in history, folks. Tearing it apart. So, yeah, this 9009 set was on my Class 80. So, my Class 80 doesn't have keycaps right now. So, needed these for the review tonight. So, and then we gotta take pictures of this board later tonight and make it look pretty. So, and we also got that big ass enter on it, which is awesome. Look at that. Give me a second. Ah, okay, cool. Just my neighbors. It's all good. All right. Well, there we go. Got those keycaps. Let's see if I can just pull this apart. All right, cool. Just gonna yank these out. Cool. Let's get these beers out. God, that sounded really inappropriate out of context. One thing about this board too, I'll just tell you folks, these hot swap sockets are tight. So, yeah. Again, thankfully, I'm literally only ever going to do 2 builds with these. Yeah, but these hot swap sockets, oh my god. Yeah, those are tight. Ow. Ah, this is going to be absolutely delightful tearing this board apart. Oh man, come on. There we go. Alright. Ow. Oh, my hands are going to hurt after this. This is going to suck. Alright. So. Alright, we got that portion. Let's get the F-row out and we'll get our main cluster. Yeah, but I'm really stoked about this PI plate. Like, that's the plate I'm really stoked for. Let me see if I can. Yeah, no. That ain't coming apart properly. At least the lazy method. Yeah, these are really tight. I mean, my Seal 80 is like never coming apart, so that thing will be together till the end of time. So these are very well built boards. The Sensy guys definitely know what they're doing in terms of like board design and the manufacturer that they work with. So yeah, cool. All right, let's get these things out. Oops. Alright, what's up, Plastic Bits? We're doing the Seal 80. We just did our first build with the 4mm ABS plate and Gator on beers. We're tearing it apart right now, and then we're going to do the, I think the more interesting plate, which is the 4mm PEI plate, which looks freaking awesome. So, we're just tearing these switches out. Again, this is a Cherry MX build we're doing today, so getting this one going. Ow. Ow, my freaking hands. Yeah, that hurts, man. Yeah, I can't do the lazy method of just like pushing these out, but hey, it's fine. Nice. Yeah, I've never built with a PEI plate before, so I'm really excited to use this material. And see how it sounds. So come on. Oh, come on, man. There we go. We're getting there. Yeah, PI is a really good material, so I'm really excited for that one. Yeah, I think if people are going to build this board with Cherry MX, like, honestly, one of the 4mm plates is what I would go with. There we go. Okay, 2 more rows. Ah. Oh, my wrist hurt. Ow. Like I said, normally I don't pull my boards apart like this, so I don't really do hot swap. Not anymore, at least. Alright, one more row. Let's get these last 10 out. Alright, almost there. Ow. Alright, cool. Last switch. There we go. Cool. Alright. Let's get this PI plate on here. And boom. Oh my god, it looks sick. Love that. Alright, we're doing Ace TTC linears. So, going linears on this PI plate, I think is going to be pretty sick. So, one of my favorite switches, and one of the first switches I ever, like, used when I got into the hobby. So, love these switches. I think these are going to, give us a good sound profile. So we're just getting those 4 corners clipped in. Now we can kind of start working our way around. Alright, cool. Let's get these right here. Ah, these are gonna sound sick. Come on. Yeah. All right. Yo, what's up? What's up, Naveed? So we're doing our second build. So this is our we just did the first build with the 4mm ABS plate with Gator on beers. Now we're doing the 4mm PEI plate, which looks really good looking actually on this board. So that's the one thing that's really nice. So we're just clipping these puppies in. And I think this one's going to sound really cool. I think for people who are going to build this Cherry MX or buy this for Cherry MX, I would really recommend the 4mm plates. Because I think they're just probably going to give such a unique and kind of interesting sound signature compared to like a standard 1.5mm cherry plate. But that's just me. Okay, I'm just making sure that switch clips in. Are we clipping in? Wait a minute. Come on, there we go. Cool. Yeah, I've never done this is my first experience with 4mm plates. I really like the ABS one, but I've never done a PEI plate before. So like that's going to be really cool to kind of try out today. And then of course on Monday we're doing the Cherry MX to showcase today, and then on Monday we'll be doing the Alps build, which is going to be really cool. And then eventually we'll do the Space Invaders build. We're building this board 3 different ways. because this board supports 7 different switch types, which is absolutely psychotic, and I absolutely love the mad lads at Sensy for doing that. Because I know that definitely made this project more expensive for them to develop. Why aren't these clipping in? Wait a minute. I'm having some issues with these switches. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so these are really cool. So, you know, we'll be out of here probably in the next, like, 20 or so minutes, because this is going to be the last build we're going to do with this today. This was going to be just a really kind of quick and dirty stream today. The Alps build stream is going to be a very lengthy one, because, yeah, it's just we got to solder and do all that stuff. The switches I have ready to go. They're all lubed up. I don't know where the heck I put them. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got the green Alps right here. So we're doing green Alps to kind of keep with the green theme of this board. But yeah, it's going to be a really cool build. Just getting everything going. So these are TTC Ace linears. So these are, I have a metric crapload of these on hand. I love these switches. These are the very first switch I ever purchased when I got into the hobby. And they're in my KBD Fence 8X Mark III, which has been like custom Cerakoted and whatnot. That's like my very first ever custom board. So like these switches hold a special place for me. So I knew when I was going to promote this build, and I knew we were going green, I'm like, well, we got to build it. We got to build it with these switches for sure. Like, yeah, these switches are like really special. For me, making sure that PI clips in. There we go. Yeah, really good switches. So yeah, we're just making sure we're all clipped in. Yeah. So yeah, one thing about this board too, those of you who are maybe doing hot swap for Cherry MX on this board, the hot swap sockets are like freaking tight on this board. So just be aware of that. Like these are very, very tight hot swap sockets. I assume they'll loosen up over time. If you're swapping out switches a lot on this board, but like initially when you get this this PCB, like these are very tight. These are very tight sockets. So perfect. So yeah, and then for keycaps we're doing GMK 9009. So keep it nice and basic and beige with like one of my favorite GMK sets. I had that set on my MM Studio Class 80 that's built with Topera. So I had to like that keyboard right now has no keycaps on it because I needed the keycaps for this review. So, but yeah, the way we're building this board is pretty much what the board we're gonna take photos of, and I'll be posting tonight and tomorrow. So we're gonna showcase this board on like the Instagram post and on Reddit and Discord with this PEI plate and these Ace TTC linears, which is really cool. Yeah, but yeah, these look really, really good. I'm curious how this one's going to sound. We did the Gatorade beers sounded really pleasant with the ABS 4mm plate. So I'm really curious to see how this plate sounds. The Sensy guys did send me like the standard like 1.5mm Cherry MX plate, but I'm like, everyone did that. Like Alex Odos, Captain Sterling, everyone else who built Cherry MX builds with this board for the reviews, like did that. So like, yeah, but I have zero experience with PEI. Oh crap, why is that one not going in? Crap, why is that not going in? Yeah, some of these are a little more stubborn than it. Some of these are a little more stubborn than... Got it. One more row, folks. Yeah, definitely taking apart this hot swap assembly is not the most fun. I mean, it's better. It's still better than desoldering a board. I mean, just give me a second, folks. I gotta just text one thing. Alright. Almost there, friends. Why is that? Got a bent pin right there. We don't want to do that. Yeah, so almost done with this one. Hey, I dumped out like the perfect amount of switches for this one. That's pretty great. Alright. Cool. Alright, folks. Let's get this board built, get the keycaps, do a sound test, and then we're gonna get on out of here, folks. So that's the one nice thing about Hot Swap Cherry and Max. Like they are quick and dirty builds. So that's the one nice thing about this. It's not like when we do Alps where the stream is like 3-4 hours. So nice and simple. And sometimes those are the best builds. Simple builds. So yeah, yeah. If you're doing like something like Alps, heck, even Topper at Cherry, like it's gonna be a pretty straightforward build. If you're gonna build this board with Alps, I have an Alps plate. Sensy guys have an Alps plate file, but I also have an Alps plate file that's designed by Careless. So if anyone's interested in like plate files, I can definitely share those plate files with anyone who wants them. If you're getting a Seal 80 and you want to build it with like a particular switch type. And then again, once I get that Space Invaders plate as well, I'll make that one publicly available so people can utilize that one. Cool. All right, we got the top mount in. Let's get this in. All right, cool. All right, cool. Alright, let's get these screws in here, and then we'll get the keycaps on, and then we'll do a little sound test. So, yeah, we have 6 screws on the bottom, and that bottom weight just looks freaking phenomenal. I think Sensy, I think they've nailed a really good and clean design aesthetic that I really enjoy. I mean, I love the design language on my Seal full size. Like, one of my favorite Alps boards modern Alps boards that I have. Like, and it's a gorgeous full size. So, yeah, this group buy is running until April 23rd, which is really, really nice. So I'm glad they're keeping it open for a month, because I hate it when like certain group buys run. They said, we're keeping it open for like 4 days or like a week. I'm like, you suck. Keep it open for a month. So like, people have, if they want to buy it, they have time to like figure their crap out financially to like buy the board. So, all right. Let's move my little work mat out of the way. There we go. Look at that, folks. Oh man, oh my god, that PEI plate looks sick. That is awesome. Cool. All right, let's get GMK 9009 on here, and then we'll get on. We'll do a quick sound test, and then we'll get out of here. All right, just making sure those. Awesome. Let's get that. Also, of course, we're putting a big ass enter on here, because of course we are. GMK big ass enter. So let's get our step caps. Let's get our backspace. And then our other shift, left shift. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Awesome. Let's get our little insert right there. Got our green escape. Let's get our controls here. And then we'll get our alt gear. There we go. And then our tab. And then everything else we'll get on there. Sweet. So let's get it going, folks. So yeah, we're going to get the rest of our keycaps on here. But yeah, this board looks really, really nice. Another thing too, there's accent pieces here. There's a little accent strip right here, and there's an accent badge on the back on the weight. So when you purchase this board, you're going to select what type of badge and accents you want. You can't choose no accent, so you have to choose one. So just be aware of that. So, all right. Getting this GMK set on here. Four. All right. All right. good, friends. Looking good. Hey, Naveed is like the MVP right here, okay? It's nice having like one of the goats of the hobby in here. So, all good. Alright. Getting these ones going. But yeah, Seal 80, definitely a fun build. So, we're almost there. Getting these keycaps on here. That's the one nice thing about Cherry is, like, again, I can get these builds done really quickly. So, almost there. All right. Looking good, friends. All right. Cool. 3, 4. We're getting there, friends. God, I love 9009. It looks so good on this board. Oh, man. That looks awesome. All right, let's do a little typing test, folks. But here we go, folks. That's a Seal 80 with our Ace TTC V2 linears and GMK 9009 with that 4mm PEI plate. Really, really good looking board. I think it looks fantastic. So, yeah, looking good. Let's do a quick sound test, and then we'll get everyone on out of here, folks. So. It's a lot. It has flexibility because it's not like brass or like copper. So there is still some flex, which is nice, but it's a lot firmer than the ABS, which I really like. I like a much stiffer typing feel, so it feels really nice. So I think if you're gonna do like Cherry MX, I think that's a really good way to do it, folks. So, all right, folks. I think we're gonna end it there, folks. So we're gonna put the VOD up on YouTube later this evening. And again, be on the lookout on Reddit, Discord, Instagram for pictures of this particular board right here. We'll be back here on Monday doing the Alps build for this one, folks. Yeah, let me get the mic a little bit closer. Let's see if we can get my mic. That's as close as I'm going to get my mic to it. My boom arm doesn't like me moving, so let's do it really quick. Cool. Yeah. Let me move my microphone back up because there we go. Cool. All right, folks. So thank you so much, folks. It's a really good board. I really like it. We'll be building Alps back here on Monday, folks. So have a great rest of your evening and great rest of your day wherever you are, folks.